Emergency, emergency. This is emergency broadcast, by the way. The Bill
Yep,
Mason Show.
here we are.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing better than most people that had the virus, so I'm good.
Yes, that's true. And we have a very explosive show. I mean, I can't keep up with all the news.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard trying to squeeze it all in. I think we're gonna pull it off, but there's a lot to take in. So
There is.
let's do it.
So, I mean, we have world war news, Turkey and Russia. We have explosive videos of showing the bombing that happened today. Russia bombed Turkey. Uh,
Yeah,
this amazing video. We
Tw-
have virus.
22, right? 22 Turkish
It's,
dead.
it's up to 33 people dead, many
33. Okay.
many wounded. And then we have, of course, the virus news. It is exploding. It's all over the world now.
Yep.
And
What
so
they
we're,
do.
we're going to go over that. So, Bill, I mean, I know you had a video today about you're trying to get masks and you couldn't get any. They're all sold out. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, people are starting to improvise, like, anything that can cover your face and filter, something out. I mean, people have to get creative.
That's true. So let's go to this video and see how creative they really get, okay?
Yeah.
There we go.
Conscious that there's a world shortage of masks due to the coronavirus. But we have the answer in our souvenir shop here. And what it is one of these. It's obviously very patriotic. It's a Union Jack. And it fits perfectly, as you'll see. You just pop it over your face like this. You clip the things behind the ears. It fits over the mouth, over your nose, and then you put your hat on. Voila! They're
Well done.
$3.99 for a set of three. We haven't got many left, so please hurry while stocks last. Thank you very much.
There we go. 3.99.
Whatever works.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we want to start with a funny video tonight because the rest of the stuff is just horrible.
Yeah, we had to lighten it up somehow because the global picture of humans versus natural science and biology, we're not winning.
No, we're not winning. This virus is not natural. It's a man-made virus made in the Wuhan factory laboratory.
Yeah, it's doing things that normally viruses wouldn't do. Like we have spoke before, a virus wants to live, so
Hmm.
it doesn't want to kill its host, and even the people that are quote unquote better that they release and they're cured, they just immediately get it again when they're like exposed to it. Like
Right.
your body does not really learn how to fight this thing.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you get it, your lungs are scarred, you get recover, they see you recovered, then you get it again. Some people can't handle it. They go in septic shock, they flop on the floor,
Yeah.
organ failure, or they die of a heart attack.
And what kind of like makes my head spin is that there's people that they want to compare this to the regular flu, and they say, oh, the regular flu, it kills hundreds of thousands of people, and you know the regular flu doesn't shut entire cities down. The regular flu does not get military intervention. So someone, in my opinion, this is conjecture, was tipped off that this is more than the regular flu, or else China wouldn't have reacted so drastically
Hmm.
about it. And the rest of the world, like how Italy's handling it now.
Right.
Somebody probably in the know is saying, look, this is bigger than the
Right.
flu. You probably should treat it differently.
Right. Well, they're just right now. I mean, it's all throughout the whole world. There's no stopping this thing. They're
Right.
just trying to slow it down. They can slow it
Right.
down. They might be able to try to find a vaccine for it. So they're just trying to slow it down right now. A flu doesn't get Vice President Pence to be on the task force to try to prevent it.
Yeah.
So you don't do all that if it's a normal flu. And I talk
And,
to family members too. It's like, oh, it's just a flu, but it is not the flu. It's a higher kill rate,
right.
and it transmits faster, and everybody gets sick. You're all rushed to the hospital. They can't treat them, and then you die at your home.
The latest R naught value is 6.6, which
Mm-hmm.
means to people that don't know, one person infected can infect 6.6 people.
Yeah,
The
I've heard
regular flu is not even close to that.
yeah, and we had the super spreaders that infect one for 29.
Right.
You know, I mean, you've seen articles about that.
Yep.
Super spreaders are spreading 29 people to the one.
And they're the ones that are scary because they don't show the symptoms.
Right.
So they don't even have the fever.
Right.
You know, and they're, you know, everybody's indicator for this is you pull up to a traffic stop like they do in China, and they take your temperature. If you're 98.6, you keep rolling.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stop you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can have the supposedly got symptoms. There's some people that got symptoms and not even catch anything and just spread it.
Yeah.
The incubation period said is around 24 days, and they're holding people for 14 days, 2 weeks.
Right.
That's not
Right.
long enough.
No, not at all. And the people in, I think it's Fort Detrick, Maryland, the most severe ones went to Fort Detrick, which is the level 4 in the country, the closest one to a level 4, equivalent to Wuhan, where they may have something in the works. I'm not saying I'm in the know, but if there is something to battle something of this level, it'll be a Fort Detrick.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned that this concoction. It's a AIDS medication. We mentioned it on the show 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it supposedly has some good response to the virus. But
Yeah,
I don't know how much they have in stock.
That's the problem. The problem is the production, and you know, there's so many people now that have the wrong view of this. They're saying, see, if we had socialized medicine, this wouldn't have been a problem. But guess who's coming up with the research and the cures and the people doing the actual virus testing are private pharmaceutical companies. They're not government entities.
No, they're the ones that make the medications.
Right.
They're the ones that do the research. So we had to put all the resources behind them.
Right. So you have a monster government in China, this big communist power who's helpless. So you literally watch what happens when everybody, yeah, sure, we got healthcare. Yeah, there's 4 doctors and 8 nurses in this whole hospital, and you got 300 people in the waiting room, and there's dead bodies in the lobby. Okay, there you go. There's some communism, free healthcare for you.
Right.
Enjoy.
Right. Well, so we have a video of last night's news conference. Mike Pence is going to be the person in charge. We're going to show that real quick, and just in case anybody missed it. So let's take a look.
President Trump's made clear from the first days of this administration we have no higher priority than the safety, security, health, and well-being of the American people. And from the first word of an outbreak of the coronavirus, the President took unprecedented steps to protect the American people from the spread of this disease. He recounted those briefly, but the establishment of travel restrictions, aggressive quarantine effort of Americans that are returning, the declaration of a public health emergency, and establishing the White House Corona Task Force are all reflective of the urgency that the President has brought to a whole of government approach.
All right, so there you go. So this is a normal flu. We're going to do a task force to make sure no one dies in the United States. So it's,
well, I'm just happy that, like I said, the woman that he put in charge, she has dealt with the most deadliest things that this country and the world has ever faced. So he's putting his A team forward.
Yeah, I like how Democrats say, well, he's doesn't like science. He doesn't, all this stuff, and he doesn't know anything about medicine. But you need somebody to manage the group. You have scientists below you. You're not actually going to be figuring out. You manage everything. You manage everybody that's on your team.
Yeah, it's not like they've got Pence at a microscope looking at the virus. Like, do you want another slide, Mike? And he's like, give me another one.
Right.
No. But there's always a level of management and there's always a level of talent. And that's just how anything works, whether you're making music or finding a cure for this. There's talent and there's management, and they usually don't mix,
Right, exactly. So, let's look at the numbers. These numbers are trash. These are the confirmed numbers, by the way.
Yeah, confirmed, taken lightly.
So the confirmed numbers, there you go, 83,000. Total deaths, 2,856, which is not right. and then we got total recovered. And we don't care about recovered because they get it again and they die.
Right.
We're looking at, probably up to, over a couple of million people have it now.
Yeah.
I'm
at
thinking,
least.
if not more. And then you're looking at probably 100,000 deaths. Maybe
At
more.
least, and a
Maybe more.
lot of the estimates and what we're seeing being discussed here among the people
Right.
is that how do you know if you're not testing people? If you're not testing for this viral load of this virus, how do you really know? Because
Yeah.
you don't.
Well, here's what happened with the California one that just happened, yesterday.
Yeah.
So the woman goes into the hospital in California, says she's sick. The hospital asked CDC to test her for the virus because she had all the symptoms.
Yeah.
And CDC said, no, we're not going to test her because she didn't come back from China in the last 14 days.
Right.
So,
And that's the only reason to test someone, apparently.
yeah, so it's not in Italy, it's not throughout Europe, it's not in
Right.
Iran. So we just test people from coming back from China for whatever reason.
That's
So-
it. And
yeah.
and meanwhile, it's in all these other countries too. It's in
Right.
France.
Right.
I mean,
South
it's everywhere.
Korea, Japan.
I mean, their
all these
number,
people.
their South Korea's numbers what doubled
Yeah.
since our last show? I mean, that's
because
insane.
they're testing people actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, wow,
Yeah.
this is kind of like a smoke and mirrors thing, or a shell game. I'll call it a shell game, where you're trying to guess, while the guy moves the cup around. I mean, there's this number that they throw at people. They're trying to make it seem less deadly
Hmm.
because they won't give you the actual number of infected versus deaths.
Right.
So that's why you can't get the stat.
There's just no way to know. The
There's
only way
no
we're
way
going
to
to
know.
Yeah, the only way we're going to know is after it's all over with.
Right.
After a few more months, and they can calculate how many people. And even then, they won't be able to know because they're not testing the dead.
Nope. And China doesn't report people over 65. There's all these reasons that they don't
Right.
do it. I mean, it's crazy.
So United States is not testing. So anyway, back to the California case. So she went into the hospital Wednesday. She finally said, CDC finally on Sunday said, yes, okay, we'll test her, and it came back positive.
Yeah.
So they're not testing. They only tested 500 people maybe at the most.
Yeah. 486 or
Yeah.
something like that. Some weird number.
Per the CDC website, by the way.
Right. And that's from the CDC website. And honestly, that's a drop in the bucket of, this is flu season. I kind of get the whole let's wait and see factor for some people. But one of the key symptoms is over 102 fever for multiple days and not being able to breathe.
Yeah.
So the regular flu, which I've had in my life,
Hmm.
I mean, you feel like crap,
Right.
but I'm not literally wondering if I'm going to wake up tomorrow,
Right.
which is the difference of the coronavirus. Like when you have the coronavirus, you go to sleep going, man, I hope I make it through the night.
Yeah. Exactly. You start sweating and then get the virus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's similar to the flu, but it's not.
You're struggling to breathe.
Yeah.
It's so much more upper respiratory distress that
Right.
it makes the flu look like a junior version.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. I said anybody in ICU that's in respiratory distress, they should test all those people,
Right.
no matter what. So
Because they're doing them a disservice. Imagine if you had one patient in ICU, so to speak, and they were positive, and then maybe an attending nurse, doctor, whatever, is carrying a clipboard from room to room. Who knows? It happens, and then it spreads.
oh yeah, that it spreads, and then on top of that, it's a disservice to the person who has it because
Right.
they're treating them for something else that they don't have.
Sure.
So I don't know. So we have a video of Iran. Iran is getting eat up by this virus. They're saying
Yeah.
it's over 1,000 people dead. Confirmed is 26 though. But the ex-ambassador to the Vatican, Iranian ex-ambassador to the
Yeah.
Vatican, died today of the virus. Of course, it's only the flu. But he died.
Yeah.
He died today of the virus. But we're showing here a video of them burying some bodies
Yeah.
next to a
They're
cemetery.
hiding bodies. It's not like a cemetery, and they're hiding it like in the vicinity of a cemetery.
Right.
So Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
that's near a cemetery. You'll see a cemetery, but
Close.
yeah, it's close. There we go.
ما اینجاست، اینجا هم قبرستونه. اینجا دو نفر که ویروس کرونا گرفتن داره اینجا دفن میکنن. بهشون میگن چرا خونه ما دارین دفن میکنین؟ ما بد برخورد میکنن. نیروی انتظامی آوردن، داد
Nothing to
کردن،
see
فریاد
here.
کردن، نذاشتن ما
Yeah,
اینجا.
don't worry about it.
گفتیم اون
Just
وقت دفن
hazmat
کنین. جای
suit
دیگه
guys
آتیش
dumping
بزنین.
bodies.
حرف گوش
The guy's
نکردن.
mad because you're dumping bodies of virus back in.
خانواده‌شون جرأت نکردن.
Exactly. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, what if they showed up in your backyard and started burying coronavirus bodies?
دور اطراف
Yeah.
اینجا داره
Meanwhile, I'm
آدم
trying to grow
زندگی می‌کنه.
peaches. You know what I
مثل خواهرزاده من بغل
mean?
دستم داره گریه میکنه از ترس. جلوی همسایه‌ای اونور گرفتن اونجا. آخه داره اعتراض میکنه، میگه سریعتر دفنش کن.
Anyway, he don't know what to do. He called the police. The police came and said, leave him alone.
Seriously, that's like an unmarked grave. So like you could see that there's a cemetery immediately to the right, and then they're just burying them like on the outskirts with like a hole in the ground.
Right. Well, the UK came out, by the way. They have a plan to do mass burials. Did you see that?
Well, yeah, and China has been doing that. China has been digging trenches.
Right.
You know, just like Pol Pot. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Well, they've been putting them in incinerators, the crematoriums.
but those guys are dropping too. Like they're exhausted. Like we
Oh, yeah.
talked about that last show.
Yeah.
You can't throw 150 pound, 120 pound, let's say some people are in shape, 110 pound
Right.
people into these incinerators for 24 hours a day and
Right.
laugh.
Well, two of
That's
them
a-
break down. There was 20 of them in Wuhan. They brought more in
Yeah.
to cremate the bodies, and they brought 20 of them in. Two of them broke down,
Yeah.
and because they couldn't handle the load, so they only have 18 going. By the way.
And I heard this is unconfirmed. They had to convert a furnace that was meant to melt steel into a body burning device because it was more efficient. They could fit more. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. So we also have a video back to Iran of people trying to get into a clinic. I don't know if they're trying to get masks or trying to get help, but here we go.
Trying to get anything.
Anyway, there's panic in the streets in Iran. Italy's running out of food in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
In Hawaii, Costco's being run over by a bunch of people trying to gorge goods just in case they get quarantined.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's 8,600 people in quarantine in California, and they haven't tested one of them.
It's so, you know what? The Home Depot near me, this is a funny thing. The M95 masks,
Mhm.
they have boxes of 30 and they have them like on a pallet as soon as you walk in the door,
Okay.
and it's one per customer. One box per
One box
customer.
per customer.
Yeah,
You just keep
so
on
they
coming
have
in.
them. They have them, but you can't load up on them.
Well, you just keep them coming in.
Well, yeah, you can bring your sister and your brother and everybody
Right.
else. I mean, they
Right.
need them too. That's the
Right.
problem, you know?
That's true. Wow. So anyway, so a lot of virus news. So I mean, I think by the next 2 weeks, probably the end of the month, if they start testing in the United States, then you'll start seeing clusters. Most likely, probably in California, where there's community transmission, and then it'll just flow over throughout the United States. I know there's people quarantined throughout the United States. There's like 88 people in New York.
Yep.
There's people throughout the whole place that are self-quarantined. They have not been tested. They're just being self-quarantined.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to, for 2 weeks.
There was a CDC doctor who self-quarantined himself because he was in Beijing. And what he discussed, it was on Glenn Beck or something like that. What he discussed was that this is far beyond the self-quarantine level. Like there are people that go to work with the sniffles and think, I just have the sniffles. They go to work with a light cough. They think they just have the light cough.
Right.
But the thing about the coronavirus is they're transmitting this at the light cough and the sniffle stage.
Yeah, and they're transmitting without any stages.
Right.
You can just be
Right.
walking around still feeling fine and still transmitting the disease.
Right. So this is different than, the regular flu. and he talked about the fact that like some of these businesses and the way people live paycheck to paycheck, they push themselves to go to work when they feel like crap. And then they just end up spreading it to 15, 20 people in like an office building. If you're in a cubicle setting and the guy in the corner has this terrible cough, you can try to avoid him, but he probably touched the copy machine. He probably touched everything else, you know?
Stays on objects for 9 days or longer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah, so the Pope was sick today, too, as well.
Yeah, the Pope, they had to take him off the little Pope mobile and check his temperature.
Right. So once you start seeing celebrities not being on any kind of shows and stop seeing, you know, because China, all their Communist Party leaders are underground right now. They're just trying to stay away from people, trying to stay safe. Because President Xi came out one time to show face, but they're staying right. They're staying underground
one time.
Right. But other nations can't do that. I mean, United States, you can't have Trump can't go underground and say face. They have to stay out and about.
But the Secret Service does have a protocol. I was listening to Dan Bongino, who's a former Secret Service agent. They do have a protocol for biological agents. They can silkwood the president in seconds if they think he's been exposed to something.
Okay, well, good.
They have a contingency plan if they think someone came up to him and like touched him with something. They throw him in like this weird tube and they soak him down with something. Yeah.
All right, well, good. I'm glad they have a plan.
They have a plan, but it's only for like super special presidential type people. For me and you, if I go to the food store and get exposed, I'm taking it home.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, there's so much virus news. I mean, I think we went over most of it, but it's all bad.
It's all bad, and the numbers aren't real. So the numbers that China's releasing aren't real. The numbers that are, in the United States aren't real. And it's not that it's scary to not have real numbers, because if you're an intelligent person, you're going to do your best. You're going to try to, prepare for as best you can with what you have. But, this could turn into a global economic issue more than a health issue. And that's what I think most of these governmental type people are worried about, that it's going to become an economic issue, not health, economic.
Yeah, because, once the virus is throughout the United States and people are dying, everything's going to shut down, just like in China.
The supply chain gets interrupted. It gets really apparent where you get your stuff from and who moves your stuff.
Right.
We are one of the movers of stuff. Japan is a mover of stuff. China's a maker of stuff.
Right.
And it's going to show.
Yeah. So if there's economic collapse after this happens or while this happens, you're looking at once China goes, the United States and all the rest of the countries are going to start domino effect.
Sure, their stock market's not even open.
Right.
I mean,
if the United States goes, the world goes.
And some of the economic guys that I follow are saying that the only thing China can do after this is devalue their currency, which they have done hundreds of times before, and literally create some kind of currency buyback and try to save face, but it just puts everybody in a tailspin once they start that crap.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, speaking of the stock market, we showed the stock market here today. I mean, it's plunged down to almost 1,200 points today.
Yep.
So let's bring it up here. So look at that chart. It's like a tailspin down to, it just doesn't look good there. So, I mean, the last 6 days it has plummeted. And it looks like Joe Biden's poll numbers looks like.
Really? Is it close?
It is close. Let's take a look. So there's the stock
market.
Let's compare. All right. So here it is. See, Joe Biden's numbers right
here. There it is. Well, I guess if my stocks were somebody and I was a Democrat, I would want my stocks to be Sanders because he's climbing.
Yeah, Sanders is doing good. So communist is good. So Biden has actually went up a little bit over Bloomberg, but But look at that drop, man. Look at this, just like the stock
Holy
market.
cow, man. You can't get worse. Actually, he doesn't even think he's running for president anymore. He thinks he's running for Senate. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, so no need. So once you vote for
Yeah.
him, he's going to go in the Senate.
Yeah. So if he wins, he'll just go to the Senate. He'll show up for work at the Senate. He won't even go to the White House.
Right. So there you go. So we do have, let's go over to the other news tonight, which is not looking good. We have a Russia bombing of Turkish troops tonight. Looks like 33 Turkish troops have been killed and many wounded. And so looks like they might go at it.
I think they're already at it.
Right. I'm talking about full blown, but yeah, I understand they're already at it. So
a first punch is a first punch, man.
Yeah, so I do have a video of it. It's a very good video of the bombing that happened today. It shows where the troops were taking cover. It shows the actual bombing. So there's two videos. I'm going to show you all of them.
Right.
Let's take a look. Some of these might be redundant, but here we go.
Komutan bölgemizi vurdular. 210 bölgesi vuruldu.
Bölgemizde şehitleri de alıp geliyor. Şehitleri almadan geri dönülmeyecek. Şehitleri demeye çalışıyor.
There we go. And then here we are where the troops are huddling down. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, you have an inside view? Right.
Komutanım bölgemizi vurdular. 210 bölgesi vuruldu.
Let's play that again. Look at that.
Are they putting masks on, or am I?
Let's go back to it. So,
Yeah, watch it. It looks like they're trying to put masks on. They got one of the guys was going into a bag and putting something on. That guy right. Maybe not.
let's try Alright, so there you go. So that will happen today. Russia bombed a Turkish observation post, killing 33. There was word now that it's giving Syria 24 hours to back out of that Idlib area.
Yeah, and then they're going to go in full force. But from what I understand, Libya is also pretty pissed at Turkey.
Yeah, there has been reports that many troops have been killed in Libya as well, Turkish troops.
Yeah.
Because they're fighting over there. So they're trying to help the government of Turkey that's there in power in Tripoli.
Right.
And the other party has taken over most of Libya. So they're trying to. So Egypt is backing the people that have taken over most of the country. Turkey's trying to save off Tripoli from being in other hands. So it's not looking good over there either. I mean, you got Turkey and Egypt can fight at any time. You got Turkey and Russia and Syria is fighting. So it's not looking
And honestly, from the other things that I try to keep an eye on, it's so hard to figure out the chess pieces that are actually in play over there. But Israel is actually fighting on several fronts too, and it doesn't hit the news because it's just, oh yeah, Israel scrambled fighters. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, they do it every day.
They do. They bomb Syria almost every day.
Yeah.
Today they bombed Syria actually. Just a few hours ago actually, and then they also bombed the Golden Heights area just over to Syrian border. So a lot's going on over there. I mean, that's the flare-up point. That's where World War III will happen.
The fuse is lit, man.
Yeah. And it's breaking news too right now. It says Turkey puts all known targets of Syrian regime under fire with air, ground, fire support elements. So there we have. So Hopefully it won't escalate. I know they don't want to go to war with Russia. I don't think they'll last very long with Russia.
I don't think so either. But the tip-off point is if Russia starts to poke Israel in the eye, and then we get involved. We know, we both know that.
Yeah, yeah. So that happens, and we get involved, and then we can get involved if Russia attacks Turkey because they're a NATO member.
They're a NATO. Yeah, they're a NATO ally.
Yeah. So it's a big mess.
Yep.
You got the virus, economic collapse, war. So that's why we played a funny video at start. So it's,
Yeah, and I mean the craziest thing is for Donald J. Trump, he was going so well. He was negotiating deals. He was doing everything he knew how to do as Donald Trump does. Build stuff. He wanted to build a wall. He's like, I know how to build stuff. I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to negotiate these deals. Now he's dealing with a pandemic virus and a Middle East proxy war that's going on, and he's probably gonna have to get involved and bring Congress into it. And then it's going to be, you see how Congress is, you see how the House of Representatives is. I mean, this could turn into the only detrimental portion of the Trump administration.
Yeah, I agree.
Stuff that's beyond his control.
Yeah, he can't control. I mean, the virus transcends politics.
Yeah.
Rich or poor, no matter who you are, you can get it and you can die.
It affects global economics, local economics. This stupid war over there in Turkey, if Israel gets involved, it could affect him. And he's saying everything he's been trying to do for the United States has worked. And now they throw this wrench in the works, and it's like, yeah, let's see how you handle this, buddy.
Right. Yeah, and then this is a bigger problem. So hopefully we'll be able to it won't go to that extreme, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we do have other news. We have locusts still.
Still, they're not stopping.
No, I mean, these locusts, man, they're all over the place. They're in Africa, they're in the Middle East, now they're in China. So there is all over. So we're going to play a video of the locusts here. So
you can't even use pesticides. It just has, a reverse effect.
Yeah, we're going to show a video of that too as well, but it's...
All right.
Here we go. Here's a look.
You could hear people screaming, banging and banging, trying to chase them away. Plagues of locusts threaten catastrophe, wiping out crops across Eastern Africa. This is Kenya's biblical locust invasion.
There we go. So that's Kenya, locusts everywhere.
Right.
But it has spread throughout the Middle East, Africa, and Asia.
Well, the problem with that region of Africa is they don't have a lot of viable crops they can eat. Right. Realistically, if locusts start tearing into what they have, they're in big trouble. You're talking biblical famines, man.
Yeah. And that's after the locusts is famine. So we got famine, war, locusts, virus. So, and then when they try to spray for the virus, look what happens now.
Yeah, let's spray all the grasses down.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. We have dead camels.
Yep, because they eat the grass.
They eat the grass, and they spray the grass, and then they die. The camels died. That's sad, because I like camels.
That's all they got. I mean, honestly, that's what moves their stuff. They move it on a lower level, but I mean, that's their infrastructure.
Yeah, so... Anyway, I mean, it's a not a good picture tonight. There is massive news tonight. I mean, I would, if everybody's listening, to go look at Turkey and Russia and follow that as well. Of course, the virus. Get prepared, get some food, get some masks if you can. Thanks for sharing us for the mask where that is. So hopefully they'll go in one at a time to get one box of masks.
Yeah, they're probably already gone, honestly, because they're like, that how that works. Bring in your mom, your grandmom, your uncle, and your and you get it done.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the show tonight. Do you have any last words?
Just love your family. Be close to the people close to you. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I agree. And please subscribe to our channel. We're normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we do emergency broadcasts too as well. And you have a good night.
99. goodness.
I still think she's gonna run.
She might. I mean, the scariest thing is that if you're a Democrat that gets the nomination and you pick her as a VP, you know you're dead in like probably the first week.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What's gonna happen to everything?
You're done. She will be in charge.